Go
Are
ahead.
you gonna, okay, are you going to spotlight me or
Yes.
ping me or do something to me?
Spotlight, yeah.
Okay,
We'll do something to
all right,
you.
let's see if
all
this, I was gonna try putting them on this glass thing. Yeah, that may
Oh,
work.
cool.
So these first two are made out of cold porcelain.
That's lovely.
Mm.
And the fun part about that is it shrinks as it dries. So if you end up with a cake that's a little bit bigger than you wanted, you can count on it shrinking a little bit. This is the other one I made.
Now, is that molded?
Hand molded.
Oh, okay, but you don't put it in a mold, huh?
No, no, and then those are the roses we made
Wow.
for the top, which was an interesting challenge. I've never really mastered them, but
Well, it
and
looks
then a
beautiful.
friend, well, one of my club members had taken a class with Carl Bronston.
Oh, yeah.
Bronson, yeah.
Bronston, right.
Yeah, okay. And came back and taught us a lot of what he had taught. And what we made, I still don't believe we made, but I'm going to show you anyway. So this is a
Oh, wow.
checkerboard cake.
Wow.
Mm.
See the
That's
slices?
beautiful. Oh, those roses are amazing. Did you make
I
those?
was
roses?
getting better by then. That was
Oh,
after the other
wow.
class.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's
Good.
definitely a
Yeah.
practice makes perfect kind of thing. So that was one of the items we made in that class.
And that was Fimo, right? Not.
This is, yes, right.
Yeah, okay.
All the rest of these are Fimo. And this is, I think it's called an Italian wedding cake, or
Oh.
maybe a French. It's French or Italian. Doggone, now I can't remember. It was a couple of years ago, but it's like cream puffs all piled up
Oh, wow.
to make a cake.
Looks like a cricambouche. Cricambouche.
That sounds about right. I have no clue, but thank you.
Elaine, is your cold porcelain homemade or a store-bought cold porcelain?
This was done in Bettina Murda's class. So
Oh.
she had made it. I have tried once and failed, but I'd like to try again making it myself. There are a lot of recipes out there and I don't know which one is the best. So I guess you just experiment. And then a couple of other things we made in club. These were little tarts and
Wow.
slices of chocolate cake. Again, all made from Fimo.
Oh, cute.
Now, are those 1 inch?
Everything that I've shown you is 1 inch.
Okay.
I do have some 1/2 inch, but not very much. And it's a little, it's harder to see. The last two, I have to tell you, I did not make. I wish I had, because they're gorgeous.
Yeah.
Can you see that?
Wow.
Beautiful.
And this was done by Carolyn McVicker.
Oh, beautiful.
That's amazing.
And then the last one, I was thinking it was also Carolyn, but it's not. Oh, you know what? This one is from Carl. That's what it is. And
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I want to say, was that a house
I think-
party?
Yeah, I think it was a
Yeah,
souvenir because I
I'm
have that.
thinking now that we probably all have these, that it was one of the souvenirs.
Wow. That's neat.
I think that was from Indianapolis, wasn't it?
It's 2015.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
Indianapolis.
Yeah, that sounds right to me. So,
Yeah.
but if anyone hasn't seen it, I mean, his work is amazing. There's no
Yeah.
question about it.
Mhm.
So that's what I have.
All right, thank you, Elaine.
Ew.
Okay,
Does
Laura.
Rusty, yeah,
you
I
ready
wanted,
yet?
well, wait, I thought maybe if Rusty, does Rusty have
Oh,
any?
yeah.
Nothing more. Marsha's been very kind and she's put some stuff on the net for me.
Oh, great.
So some photographs. So it's
Okay.
only stamp houses that I've made,
Mhm.
but
Super. Well, we just
that's about it.
wanted you to get a chance before you have to sign
That's
out.
very
because I know
kind of
it's
you.
hard for you.
Very kind of you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And Wanda, too. She usually has to leave early.
Oh, yes, Wanda.
Do you have
yeah.
anything? I know she's
I
here.
could
Yeah.
probably dig up some pictures, but I'm upstairs and not even got in my craft room.
Okay.
I wasn't prepared. I was just ready to watch other people.
All right, that's
Um,
fine. Just one.
But yeah, I can if you don't have anything else, but you move on to someone else, then
Oh, we'll
if
have
you need to
more.
show some stuff, I can dig out some pictures.
I should be ready now. Let me see.
All righty.
Get my camera up here. Sorry, trying to get it angled right here. I normally use a different camera, but I didn't have a chance to get it set up today. Let me see what happens if I can maybe try to get it a different angle. Okay, let me try that. Okay. That. All right. Kind of, you know what, maybe let me bring it back down again. Maybe lower down will work. Come on. Trying to get my surface there. Okay. I'll put straight on view. Sorry, I normally have time to get ready for these kind of things, but because you guys have it during the week and I work,
Yeah.
I literally had to actually work through lunch and get off early.
Oh, God.
That darn working really interferes with hobbies, doesn't it?
No, it does. Well, my other
I
problem is
advise retirement. It's fun.
I live in Arizona, so right now the we're the same as Pacific time.
Yeah.
So when I was thinking I was going to be doing it, I thought it was going to be right after I got off of work. Only then I just realized when Marcia emailed me back to my question of what time it starts, that it was like, oh no, it's an hour before I get off of work. So I have my brown already, and of course I misplaced it. So
Oh, of course.
I will, let me pull out the items and show you the items themselves. And I also was confused because there were 3 of us listed. So did the other 2 not?
Right.
Oh, okay. I wish I'd known that. I didn't realize, because I thought, oh, okay, no problem. No, I'll have plenty of time.
Yes.
fine.
So here, get this a little this way. Okay, so I made demos and I made them in various scales. This one is actually I think I'm gonna have to.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Let me see if I can get better light over here. So anyway, this one is a 1-inch scale, and not only did I go ahead and paint it, I use a mixture, and I'm not getting good light here. Can you guys see?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you hold it still.
Okay, it just looks so dark to me here. Normally I have different lighting. So anyway, so it's I painted, I don't know if you can see the texture at all. Let me try to bring it up closer and get my fingers out of the way. But I use baby powder and paint to kind of get the more texture on for whipped cream and for you know, frosting. Thank you.
What
So
kind
this
of
one-
paint?
Just plain acrylic paint in the bottle. So this one, I did the roll to begin with, but then I went over the actual roll itself with the thick whipped cream paint, and then in where the brown was, just painted it with a thinner coat of the other paint. So one of the things I recommend when you're doing cakes in 1-inch scale is actually to go ahead and do, if you get some of that craft sand, which of course I couldn't find, so I didn't have it in any of mine. You put a little bit of craft sand in your clay for your cakes. And I don't remember who I learned that from originally, so I'd give them a shout out if I could remember. Here, I'm gonna try one more thing that might get me some more light here. Come on.
See, I'm fine.
Okay. I just can't really see, so it feels like you guys can't see. So anyway, this is one that's rolled up. And then I also did them in, come on off here. 1/2-inch scale and 1/4-inch scale.
Oh, wow.
And that sounds difficult, but it's the same exact roll. You just use the same technique that they do for making the canes, and so that they can do different patterns. So you make your original one, and then you roll it and stretch it at the same time, and then it then is now this size, and you roll it and stretch it, and you end up with this size. So that's why it's all the same pattern on all three. So the other thing you can do is, so this actually, the original thing that you do makes layers. And since my brown is not ready, I'm actually going to go with my other colors. So this is the other thing I did. I looked up some fun desserts, and I looked up a dessert online that was layers of color with whipped cream on top. So I actually did all 4 layers of color, and then I topped the white with some of that same white paint, and then touched it when it's dry with just a touch of gloss varnish, water-based varnish.
Now you put the frosting on after you baked it, right?
Correct. So all 3 layers, I just mixed whatever color I wanted with transparent to give it that hint of, gel kind of look. And then I went over the outside after I cut it. I then went over the outside with that same gloss varnish. So I'm going to show you with this one, because it really doesn't matter what colors you use for your oops, lost some cherries here. Put them back in there. So needless to say, for your Christmas chocolate roll, you would actually want to go ahead and do some kind of nice dark chocolate. If you can't find dark chocolate, like me, I misplaced mine. So I have a lighter colored chocolate that was just not quite the right look that I wanted. So I added a touch of dark red, a touch of black, and then I'll mix it real good. And then I'll end up with my, a more chocolatey brown. So I always find you just mix it in, twirl it up. And I wanted to show you this anyway, because what you can do with your leftovers after you're done cutting your piece, you can do the same thing. See how it has that variegated? And you can curve it into a ball and flatten it, and then you can make yourself a swirl. So you could do like a swirl cake or cheesecake or anything. So anyway, then you just put it all back together and you mix it up again. So that's how you go ahead and do the colors, and I'll get back to that one for the chocolate. And for right now, what I'm going to do is just do a piece of this other colors set. So I started with my green. So I still roll it out to a certain degree, and I know what I need to have handy.
So you don't put your clay through the pasta machine first, huh?
Well, you can if you have one.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I try to teach everything with the idea that people might not have something. So this first technique is just what to do if you don't have a pasta maker, but you still want to make layers.
And you notice the handy wipes.
Yes, yes, that's what I realized I was missing, because otherwise when I go from one color to the other, I'm going to mess it up, which I kind of already did on this one, but too late. It's still going to show that what I'm trying to show people. So what I do is I just kind of start with my fingers, flatten it out to a certain degree. Now I always got, make sure that I've worked my clay. So it's, now I've already worked it because I mixed it with the transparent. So it's already been worked to a certain degree. So it's malleable. So anyway, I kind of get a basic square shape. Then I take another tile and I just put it on top and rock it a little bit to get it nice and flat. And you have a nice, even, flat piece without a pasta maker. Then you can go ahead with your knife, where did I put my knife? There it is. So then you can square it up a bit more. And then flatten it back out again. Okay. So now you have that one there. Well, if you want them the same size, you can just leave that one there. If you want the other one thicker, it's not a problem. If you want the other one thinner, you'll have to put that one out of the way. So I'd always recommend doing your thinner layer first. So I'm going to do the lemon next on this one. I'm going to do the cream because I'm going to do the roll thing as well. It's the same technique if you're doing a stack of them, or even if, say, you just want to do a cake with a frosting in the middle. Same thing, only when you do the frosting, it's going to be a lot thinner than the cake piece. So, and the other thing you can also do with a cake is you can actually bake one, slice it with a razor blade, and then you can then do your frosting and put it between and bake it again. A little bit too thick. Okay, so part of the thing is when you go to do it, if you want to just make it layers, not a problem. You make them very similar in size. But if you want to do the roll, then you have to go ahead and sure the white doesn't want to come up here. All right, there you go. You have to go ahead and make sure that you offset a little bit to do your roll. So now I just picked that one up. Now I put the roll on and I've got the green coming right after it. Just clean up my edges a little bit and get rid of the excess on the end there. Okay, right about there. Okay, now I've got it. So I've got the excess taken off, and I'll start with my cake side, and I'm going to curl it up and then I gently press down on it and start rolling it up. Come on. It's almost a little too soft right now. It's warm here in Arizona. Okay, so and then on the sides, because I didn't like square it up quite as much as I should, so I'll actually just cut off the ends and make it the center part here. And this one ended up a lot smaller than the other one because I used less clay. But basically you can then see, sorry, get that. You can then see there's your roll. Now, again, like you were saying, you can do it the easier way and just do it from your pasta maker and everything. So anyway, you start rolling and just roll it a little bit, tug it a little bit, roll it a little bit, tug it a little bit more. So say you were doing something where you wanted the look of cinnamon rolls. So you did some cinnamony kind of look in the middle, and more you know, cake, roll kind of look to the, you know, bread kind of look to it. Anyway, so as you can see, I've now shrunk it down, and you always have to get rid of the end and pinch it back out again. I'll have to do it a little bit more. And you don't really want it as soft as it is right now coming in Arizona. Let me go ahead and cut it even further in. Yeah, as I cut it, it's just going ahead and squashing it, so you can't really see the roll texture, I mean the roll to it. But you can also go ahead and cook it and then go ahead and do your cuts. That will avoid, or put it in the freezer for a little bit so it's nice and stiff. But you could do cinnamon rolls and things like that. So one of the other things I wanted to show you guys was also donuts. Let me see what I got here. My little grab bag. This is good texture. Tiny bit of this. I'm gonna add a tiny touch of orange to it.
Anyone else has things to show, put it in the chat box.
Yeah, if you have questions, please feel free to just ask.
That too.
Okay. So I thought somebody else had already picked this, so I want to just show you this too. And this is, so you just make a nice ball, okay? And then you're going to just gently flatten. And then kind of just go back around the edge with your fingers. And then you need a ball stylus, which I think I have a good size one right here. And you just go down in the center. And then you go to the other side and you push it through and you roll it slightly. And you've got your donut. You want to make that hole a little bit bigger. Anyway, instant donut. Now, again, same technique. So you go ahead and you take your clay, and I'm just going to use like the orange to show it, to emphasize it. So grab about the same size ball, only I'm then gonna cut it in half and make instead of a ball, I'm just gonna take a flat round part, and then I'm gonna take some white. And this wouldn't necessarily be white, but just be a lighter color. Okay. I'm just gonna cut off my excess. Come on. Flatten out my other one, so somewhat round, flatten it out. Gently press down. And then kind of roll it around so you get your roundish shape again, back into it. And like I said, these aren't the right colors, so they're not going to be quite, you know, it's going to really stand out. But you would do two colors that are more similar. So like the donut there, you would just do a lighter color of that. And I'm just gonna slice all the way around it and then roll it again because just a tiny bit too big and a tiny bit messy. Okay. Roll it again, and you can even roll it like on here and then flatten it again. But anyway, when they're similar in color, you just get that light line going around the side of the donut. So if you really want to be a, you know, very realistic. And again, just once you get your nice shape, you go ahead and do this, and then you can fix the bottom a little bit to make it indent in again, and then you again have a nice donut. And then again, you can just use the you can use just a mixture of paint and the baby powder, or you can even use just paint mixed with the gloss varnish, and then you can use that to glaze them with. And then you can also use just no whole beads to put sprinkles on top of them. So anyway, this one shows the nice, so you can also do slices either before or after you bake it to make your slice, because sometimes when you have your cake, you want the slice down in front. So on here you can see, so I can make my slice sit right down in front on a tray. So
Laura, when you talk about baby powder, do you mean regular baby powder or the cornstarch formula?
I just use regular baby powder, just because something I could get at the dollar store. But you could use a cornstarch formula as well.
Thank you.
It's just what you're trying to look. You're just trying to get a bit more of a thickness and texture than paint. And again, I'm gonna bring this one up so maybe you can see the bumpiness to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I really wanted that bumpiness to the outside of it. Now this one is just the roll itself. I didn't do any extra painting or anything. So this is just literally the two colors flattened out, made sure that the white one was a little bit thicker. I did mix my white with just a hint of translucent just to make it, you know, just that little bit more whipped creamy look, and then rolled it up, and then I covered it with this paint. But everything for the, other than the bumps you see here, is just the actual clay itself. And then I paint the back side so it looks like it's all frosted. And then, like I said, I then do a slice. So you have a nice slice of the cake, and you can even do your slice after you've done your frosting, which I didn't do. But you can do that and you'd have your frosting on it as well. So, and then let me go ahead and get a little bit here. Where did I put you? So I did do a couple more swirls with the chocolate. Here, let me pull these all off of here. I also did slices of the littler ones. Let me go ahead and show you guys that too. Oh, and let me get my cherries I'll put in here. So I just, for cherries, I just again did some a nice deep red, did some translucent, and then just rolled tiny little balls and then baked them to make the cherries. But anyway, you can see my tiny little slices and the one a ½ inch scale slice. But then right over here you can see that I've got two more of the little leftover things that I swirled to make little cheesecakes. And that was just the stuff I had cut off. I just swirled it up. And this one, this is my leftover of my little jelly cakes. And again, the same thing, I just twisted up, and you can see this is sat for a bit. So unlike the other one, it's not soft, it's very stiff and broke. But again, you just can start putting it together, and then I like to pinch and twist to go ahead and get a nice mix of color. And then you can then just roll it back together, and then you shape it however you want, and you'll at least have very variegated color. Any questions or?
Do you mix the baby powder with the Fimo?
No, the baby powder is just mixed with paint. As you can see, I just have some baby powder in here.
Okay.
Then I just go ahead and pour my paint in, and then I often pour a little bit of the varnish in too, to again, you know, adjust. If I have too much baby powder and I want it a little bit shiny, I might add some of the other. Or like with this cake, you can see the difference between these two. This one is just the baby powder and paint, and see how it has a dull look. This one, I did the baby powder and paint, then I went over it with, oh, and I'm got a helper that's coming to check out if that's edible. It looks like something, doesn't it? It looks like real food. Anyway, so this one I put the clear gloss over it because I really wanted that real, you know, chocolatey look, like you actually covered it with chocolate. And then I put some of my cherries on top, And I was gonna add some, just little pine, little bits of pine on there, or holly leaves. And actually, I think I see if this is still wet. I covered it. I think it actually is. Okay, here actually is my chocolate paint with the baby powder in it. And let me get something to let me get here. This will work. So anyway, I'm gonna just grab some of it up, and you can see the thickness. See how thick?
Oh, yeah.
So you can actually even spread it on with something like this. Just try. Don't really have anything to spread it on because I decided to cover them all already. I do have my other one here. Here we go. I forgot this one. I did keep one that's just, this is how it came out of the oven. It's just the roll itself. You know, you can even see where the white came in a little bit, but I didn't really worry about it because I'll cover it all up. And then you just take the paint and you can start putting it on. And you can see you can just get texture right with just putting it on.
Oh,
And
yeah.
however much texture you want, you can, basically it makes it, kind of makes it into spackling, but whatever color your paint is. So, but you can see the thickness of it, and you can see that you can then manipulate it too. You know, so say I really want some more lines to it. It doesn't keep all the line that you do, but it definitely keeps a certain amount of line. And I got to get back on here. So here, let me try a couple more lines on it. Okay, let's get that off of my baby wipe. And then, okay, now you can see the lines that I drew in it. See how they stay?
Yep.
So anyway, so, and I mean, I use it for more than just, you know, frosting. I do use it to make miniature spackling. So if I want to like spackle walls or whatever, this is what I use for that. And then I just put it in one of these and put the cover on it. And it stayed from, actually 2 days ago is when I mixed this up. And if it's a little too thick, you can add some more paint, or I even have one, I don't even know if you can get them anymore, but it's actually, it's like one of these bottles of paint, and but it's varnish. And so I added a touch of that in it too, because I wanted to just adjust the color slightly from the paint that I had. And you can also, you can mix different paints if you're looking for a certain color. Again, the same thing. And then to again make it more translucent, you can add like the matte varnish, or you can add the gloss varnish. And but yet again, the water-based, because the water-based ones deal well with the Fimo, you know, the polymer clay. You don't want to be using something that's going to basically take apart your polymer clay and melt it. Got frosting on my arm. All right. So, like I said, no problem. You got a pasta maker. You can go ahead and use it. I actually dug out my pasta maker, and then I thought, well, I just remembered that a lot of times I didn't really want to put a whole big thing in the pasta maker. I just want to do a small thing. And this is what I would always use to make my flat, is just push one of these down right on here. And then, you know, usually the tiles, you can bring your clay back up off of it with no problem. So you pick up your sheet, set it on another sheet. So I'm actually going to squash this one.
Our question is, what is the ratio of paint to baby powder?
I would say I use about 1.5 baby powder to paint. And then again, you just kind of adjust it accordingly. You know, if you think it's a little too thick, well, you add a little bit more paint, but it's surprisingly how fast the paint will kind of gush up that baby powder. So actually, since
So could you make it thinner so it would kind of drizzle down cakes or something?
absolutely. So I actually prepared this just so that I could show you guys. Let me see. I think I'm just gonna dirty up my things. I have craft sticks, but they're in a totally different room. So I just put some paint in it. Now I start stirring it up. Oh, and I use covers for all this kind of stuff often. You know, if it's not something like I did that other one specifically because I wanted to retain it. So as you can see, you saw how much baby powder I had in there, right? And then I just squirted a little bit of paint. And I've already got that same kind of texture I have on the other one. So you can see it again. See how it's got that, oops, sorry, off screen. You can already see the texture. And you can see that one of the cool things is, now I'd have to add some more baby powder if I wanted real peaks. But if what you're looking to do is make peaks, you can just add a bit more baby powder and you'll get that extra stiffness. But right now, it's gonna slop back down a bit. So, oops, and I'm
Laura?
off screen again.
Wonderful.
Is that how you make all of your frosting?
Yes, actually, I've just always used this as a technique for my frosting. Well, no, I'm sorry. If I'm doing something bigger, okay. Different technique. Or if you're looking at small scale, what I often do for small scale, let's take this little cake right here. Okay. I actually use little dots of glue. So I put my little dots of tacky glue. And of course I keep using this one even though it's running out. Just get some nice tacky glue. And you can use a toothpick or you can just use one of your stylus, and you just start putting on dots of glue. Let's see if you can see that one little white piece.
Yeah.
And then you can just go ahead and you space them out. And if one ends up a little bit too big, scrape it off. And then you just try to make them fairly uniform. And I can't really see because I've gotten old and I need glasses now. But anyway, you just put your little dots all the way around. You let it dry. And then you can touch them with a touch of paint. And they make perfect things of like whipped cream or whatever color you're doing on them. You can also for frosting actually use your polymer clay, and you just roll out tiny little snake. Let me see if I can get this on screen. So I'm gonna make this one bigger than normal for small scale because, again, so you can see. Okay, so now I turn it back on itself and I just twist. And you can actually use 2 different color snakes for this technique as well. Yeah, I have to kind of work with it to make sure, but if you can see it on there. Oh, here, let me try to get this so we can see the light again. Anyway, you can see how you have a kind of like a frosting shape now. And then that you can go ahead and put around it and then bake it. But this one you can somewhat see the white and green on it. Let me see, get it right, the right angle. But if you do 2 definite different colors, you can then put the 2 snakes together and then you have, like, you know, white and red or whatever you're trying to do for, you know, maybe if you want to do a Valentine's Day. So anyway, those are pretty much my, you know, 3 different kind of frosting things I do.
Okay,
Um,
so
And one thing I found, like, if say you're trying to do a fancy cake, you know, those nice tall, now this is 1-inch scale, those nice tall beads, bugle beads, but they're bigger than bugle. They make great columns for a wedding cake.
mm. Okay, any other questions of Laura?
Oh, it's beautiful. Thank you. Really,
No, no.
really good tips in there, Laura. Thank you.
Yes, I've learned a lot. And you were so clear. That's why nobody has any questions. You explained it all beautifully. Thank you very much indeed, Laura. It was great.
I'm gonna try again on this other one just because I want you guys to see, you know, that look. And this one's much stiffer because I mixed it. So let me just mix it just a tad more to get the chocolate brown. And then I'll do the white here. And again, I mean, I like to mix my colors. Again, I start twisting and then I roll, fold, all those different things to try to get a nice mix of colors. So roll, twist, okay, and then roll it back up again, twist, roll, and then let me grab that one out here. That would be this one right here. Just going to show you. This is the color brown I started with, and it just wasn't the kind of color I was looking for a cake. This is the color it now is, adding a touch of dark red and brown. So you can see how much difference you can make with just mixing a little bit of color in.
You mean dark red and black?
Yes.
Black, sorry. What did I say?
Brown.
Brown.
Sorry, and black, yes. So I had, I would say, probably about 1/4 black, you know, of the brown piece I had, 1/4, and then maybe even a little less of the dark red to make this nice, you know, really chocolate looking color. So we're going to take a chunk of this. And then I'm going to grab some more white here because I kind of sapped some of my white. And yeah, remember. And don't forget this part. I forget it all the time. And then I got to redo everything I did because, you know, the white is now ugly.
Oh dear.
I know. Mommy keeps making food. And you know you can talk mom out of food all the time. I have no idea why my dogs, Sugar and Spice, think food is such a, you know, important thing.
They all do.
Nothing to do with them being named after food. So I didn't add any translucent to this because I just want to go ahead and get it ready. So what you can also do is you can go ahead and you can do both if you want them about the same thickness. You can actually put them both down at the same time, and I didn't have enough of this. Put it back together. And like I said, I tend to shape it a little bit first, just in my hand, and then put it down and then shape it again with my fingers. I don't worry too much about this. Shh. Sisters. Okay, grab my. Now, this doesn't hurt. This is actually a granite sample I got. So the added weight doesn't hurt at all in this process, but you can just use a regular tile. All the ones you saw were 2 of these type of tiles that I used, matching tiles, and I did the same thing. I think the other reason I like it is because it also, you know, it's quite flat, but it's not 100% like uniform. And so again, you get some more of that actual organic look. So, oops. The other thing you can do is starting right off. No, go away. So this one I'm going to actually pinch and make it a little bit more square first. I know it's hard for you guys to see, so bring it up. Go back and square it up a little bit. Just flatten it again just a bit. And I want this one a bit thinner. I like the cake to be just a tiny bit thinner than the frosting. They're pretty close. So I'm gonna flatten that up a little bit. And then I'm gonna make sure it's nice and flat over there. Widen this part just a bit. Okay, I'm ready for it. Okay, got my shapes. Put my frosting on, making sure that I've got a nice, decent overlap. And the reason you want the overlap is because you want to be, and then I always go back one more time and squish them together. So I make them nice and flat together and it adheses them really well. And start. I like to pull it up from the side. I'm going to be rolling anyway, because then I don't really care that it rolls a little bit while I'm doing it. So what you're really doing is you're going ahead and folding this over your white, because you really want to get that extra separation. And then when you kind of hold it, pinch it with your fingers and roll with your thumb. So you see I have a finger on top on each side, and then I'm rolling with my thumb like that, pressing down just a bit while I'm rolling, because you want to, again, make sure it adheres real good. And then I just go all the way. This one ended up with a bit too much white at the end. It's not really a big deal if you end up with a little bit of white, because again, when I do my frosting, I literally go all the way around with the frosting, but much heavier on top than I do on the bottom. But you can also just plain cut off your excess. So I cut it off. Go ahead and pinch it back up. And again, you can roll with your thumbs to try to enclose most of the brown, the white with the brown over at the top. Right now you've got your piece. Now again, you can do the reverse of what I was talking about before. So you kind of tap it down, roll it a little bit, tap it down again. So this is going in reverse of the other technique, and I'm going around it at the same time I'm doing it, because I wanted this a bit thicker than it originally was. Right, so now we've got it. You kind of even it out so it's a nice roll all the way top to bottom, back and forth. All right, so now I got a decent roll here. And again, you could just bake it as is, or you can go ahead and make sure it cools a little bit. And then when you do your slice, there's your slice. So, and now that's a little bit too far out. So I'm going to go to this side because the white went less far out on that one. So I'm going to slice from this side on this one. So you can see here on this part, I didn't really get that wrap over with the brown quite as much as I would like. On this side, you can see I got a real nice look. So when you do it, you kind of decide. In this case, I would say that's the side I'm going to paint over with my frosting. This is the side I'm going to go ahead and have out for everybody to see. And if you want more than just the one kind of loop look, you just need to make sure you make it longer. The longer it is, the more rounds you'll get. And then if it makes it thicker than you really wanted it to be, because I mean this is about a 6-inch cake. Let me see. I don't have anything there. Let me grab this one. Just want to see. It's about a 1/2 inch. Yep, exactly 1/2 inch. So, but if you ended up with it thinner than you wanted, like I said, you just kind of tap it down like this, tap it down like that, roll it again a bit, and now you got a fatter cake. You want to make you start with this, and then you want to make a, you really wanted it a smaller scale. Well, you just do this, and you kind of pinch and pull and roll. You want to do it as uniformly as possible because you're trying to keep that shape on the inside. Just tug it a little bit. So that was one of the things, because I knew that the technique, it doesn't really matter what scale you're working in. it works just the same. And now you can see it's a lot smaller, but we still got our same exact shape on the inside. So thanks for letting me go ahead and redo that with the colors I originally planned on showing you.
Great.
And then again, same thing. You want to go even smaller, same thing. And now the same technique works if you're doing something like, say you wanted to make yourself like a lemon or a lime cane, or I never see them anymore, which is unfortunate. But I was able to buy unbaked lemon and lime canes years ago, and so I could, let somebody that specialized at that do all the work, and then I bought the canes, and then I just did this technique, and then I ended up with wonderful lemon, lime, and actually orange, all three for 1/4 inch scale by just doing this technique to shrink it, that cane down. So you can do that with anything else like tomatoes or bananas or, just, you can pretty much think of any kind of fruit that you do a cane to get the look of it. And then you just shrink that cane down to the right size. And then you can then slice it.
Very good.
Yeah, I love to make bananas in 1/4 inch scale, and it's exactly the same thing. You start with a much smaller circle, and you use a much smaller stylus. I like stylus for it because again, it has that ball at the center, so it makes that nice shape going in. And then because it has that cone shape here, as you go around and you work it around, you get that, again, that kind of indent look that a donut has. Let's just use a little piece of this. Let's do a tiny little one. Okay, we've got a tiny little circle. I'm gonna set it down here. Come on. Try to get in the center. I'm gonna see if I can stick it there. Okay, flip it back over. Okay, see if we can see. There's your tiny, tiny little donut. You can't really see
So
the white in
tiny.
the center.
Oh,
So
But
cute.
that's an instant chocolate donut. And I've looked at
Lovely.
stuff, but yeah, and then I mean, you put them in a Dunkin' Donut box, and you put a little bit of frosting on a couple, and on those, literally all you need is just some paint, and a touch of the varnish, and then you just very carefully kind of just slop it on top of your donut.
Very good. Very good.
very nice, Laura.
Thank you.
So this technique, I just thought of one more thing.
Yeah.
This technique also works, but instead of the full layer like this, but you can take you take your white, and then you can like make a bit of a shape with it. Okay, there we go, bit of a shape, and then you do you do a dark red with a touch of green to get your steak color, and you fit it around that piece, and then you can do the same thing, and where You know, you're piecing it in, and you can then do things like a steak for on your grill. So it's just, you know, just think of things that you see something in a different color. You just can do the same kind of thing where you just piece it together and squash it together and then flatten it all out. Because they used to make little tiny steaks.
Okay, anything else? Anything else for you, Laura?
Oh, no, that's pretty much it.
Well, thank you so much.
That was great.
Thank you.
It was fabulous, fabulous, yeah.
Okay, Preble, you have something to share?
I do, and I want you to spotlight the one that says Preble and Mini Bunny.
Okay, let me get rid of this one.
I'm showing an Alice in Wonderland tea party.
Okay, you want the one that says Preble first there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Oh,
Oh, look at that, the Mad Hatter. Look at him.
okay, so I'm going to be showing or talking about, let me correct myself, talking about how I made 3 different things in here. This, which are like turnovers, cherry cheesecake, and then cherry Danish. While we're looking at this, this is molded, obviously, probably Ruth Stewart mold. I did not make this. This is a swap, but I believe that was made with sun foam and then painted and covered. There's a couple of cherries on top using those no-hope beads. I may have made the cookies. I do not remember. But anyways, that is something that I made. So now let's look at how some of that's made. All right, so the Danish, or no, I was calling it a turnover. So what this is, I've got actually 2 things in this little box. I used, this is air dry clay that I just crisscrossed with my knife and let it dry. And to color it, I used paint, but I believe I also used pastels, which is another option. You can do that while you're actually wet. And then this is what pastel looks like. You know, you see how there's little bitty flecks on this. You're gonna scrape that off and then, you know, use like the tip of your X-Acto knife and spread it across the Danish to color it. And that's something just kind of play with. One moment, please. Okay. And then the other thing, which was not in the tea party scene, but was some donuts. And the way I made donuts, and these are quarter scale, is these are seed beads that I just rolled in paint. And
That's brilliant.
I'm sorry?
That's brilliant.
Well, you know, if you don't want to make it in clay, you kind of figure out things to do. And these little silver things are just shiny paper that I've cut and bent the edges so that, you know, they could make little trays to the right size that I wanted.
Preble, on the pastel, after you scraped it, do you use a brush to put it on the
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You can mix it with like if you're doing it with polymer clay, I've actually seen it where you mix it with like liquid polymer clay and then use that to spread. And the liquid polymer clay comes in, I believe, both clear and shiny and I've not used that myself very much, so I'm not too sure. But I believe that is the case. All right, so in thinking about making holes like donuts and stuff, you know, Laura showed you the make it yourself kind of way. But you know, if you bought these little tools called Kemper, well, that's not a Kemper, but let me show you what a Kemper looks like if you're not familiar. I just recently got this one. This is 1-inch scale, and what it does is it has a little plunger in it, and they come in multiple sizes. But what I found on the internet is these that are this lady sold a set of them, and I just, you know, these are just a variety, but for you know, for 1/4-inch scale, I could use this one for my donuts. Hold on, I'll lay it up there in just a second. This one with, I believe, this brown one. And, you know, I mean, if you want to take that time, and then of course, if you wanted a smaller hole, here's another one. This lady is not in the United States. I don't remember, but I'm really pleased with them. I think they're really good quality. Okay, so let's look at some finished donuts that I did.
So where did you buy those, Preble?
On Etsy.
Etsy? Okay.
All right, let me lower this down. Let's see if I can get it in focus. See that little tray of donuts? It's not one to focus. Hold on. There you go.
Alice, are you asking this of Preble or Laura? What scale are the party items?
Everything that I've shown so far has been 1/4-inch scale, except for the Kemper tool, which could work for 1-inch scale cakes, or a giant donut if you wanted. But the tools that, like this tool, this tool, you know, those work across all scales. That's the thing about the Kemper tools as well, is they can work in multiple scales. So as far as the coloring on the donuts, I'm probably used a shiny paint for like the pink and the white, but you can always add a glaze. So one of the ones I use is this brand. I'm sure there's a lot of other things out there, scribbles, but you want something that's like 3D or puffy paint in order to, you know, it'll hold its shape, as opposed to adding glue or something to your paint to make it 3-dimensional and thick. Okay, so let's look at another one and see if it'll focus. Okay, this little thing was a Joanne Swanson project that I wanted to do in miniature, in 1/4-inch. So I basically took her instructions and just modified it until I could, you know, make it in 1/4-inch. For those of you that I've talked about the nail polish, this is the one why I don't use nail polish, or try not to, because that little punch bowl is, it looks, it's dipped. I don't know how obvious that is, but anyways, the thing I wanted to show you in here was, of course, dessert wise, there's actually a couple of things. They have this wrapped with a foil, a little red heart, and then this is a sucker, and then this little cake. I wanted to show you this little cake. So I'm not sure, honestly. The cake may have been made using a punch and fun foam, but as far as the decorating of it, I did use like regular acrylic paint, and then maybe added a layer of that 3D paint to make it, you know, more dimensional. The little bitty cookies are made with just like white cardboard punched, you know, with a small, I have a really small, I think it's a 1/32 punch. And then I painted like with the end of a toothpick or the head of a pin, I mean, the point of a pin, the red hearts on it. Oh, and let me go back to the cherry Danish. We'll pull that back over. Forgot about that. Okay, so we gotta go back up. Get in there, sorry.
Don't be sorry. That is so cool.
Okay, so the cherry Danish, the way that I made those, whoops, this thing don't want to stay still. Sorry. All right, the way that it was made is it's made with like Sculpey, and I indented it. I mean, I just kind of made like a ball and then flattened it a little bit, and then I indented it using the ball stylus or the head of a pen, I can't remember, but you know, something to make a flat surface or a dip in it, and then added, after I baked it, added the glossy paint, that gallery glass type product. For the cherry cheesecake, that is clay as well, and no-hole beads and the gallery glass. And I use a lot of sequins for platters. You'll see that several of those have sequins. Okay, all right, now moving on, I have some chocolate. I did make this in 1 inch recently. It's on the Create website. This is my quarter scale candy. I did this for a swap. See this little candy right here. Oh, let me turn it and look it up. So there's the candy. Now I did not make this lovely cake that's on this. This was also a swap. But I would suspect that they used, oh crud, I just dropped some pastry on the floor. I suspect that they used clay, and it's just layers, and then they cut that little slice out either while it was still warm or prior to baking it. So that's that one. And then I have one more I want to show you. Oh, let me get that out of the way, sorry. This is, let's just say it was an early swap, and it is one of my prized miniatures from someone else.
Mm. Oh, wow.
And I want you to focus in, so let me roll it down just a tad. On that cake that's in the front. I don't know if we'll be able to, here, let me move my light over, that will help us a lot. Okay, that cake is called a Swedish wedding cake. And I don't know if you can see it, well, you can see it in the little slice. Let me turn it back. It has like 8 layers and has cucumbers on it, and I think that's salmon on top, and that is our little bitty tiny eggs that go around it. So when it comes to making miniatures, we can make wonderful stuff in 1/4 inch just as well as we can in 1 inch. So don't be fooled. Don't anybody convince you that you have to make it. It's okay if you fake it till you make it kind of thing. There's nothing wrong with that, but you also can make more detail if you really want to put in more effort. And as far as those layers that they would have done for that cake, most likely they would have started out similar to what Laura was doing with the 2 layers of color instead of having, she would have done multiple layers and then just smooshed it out because she did it as a swap. Some of these other cakes also are swaps. You can see some of my Danish in the back. And then another blueberry instead. Looks like that cream pie is, I'm going to say some sort of whipped 3D paint was used on that. But in order to write on cakes, Laura, was that cake made by you a long time ago?
I was gonna ask if that was one of my happy birthday ones that we did
Yeah,
in the
I
cake
think
shop.
it is.
Yeah,
I think it is.
I used one of those micro pens
Okay.
and just
Okay.
literally wrote on top of the clay.
Yeah. So one of the things that could be used instead of like foam or clay is a wood dowel, cut it the right thickness, and have it, you know, just make sure it's really well sanded, and then, you know, just paint it. And then as far as like the edging, this icing edging, you can add dimension using like tacky, and just, you know, just little bitty dabs of glue on it, and it'll be there, it'll be clear, and then you go back with your paint over the top of it.
And what she's saying with the wood dowel, remember my baby powder and paint, that would work just as good in that.
Yeah. Okay, so that's everything I have that's desserts.
Preble, I have a question. When you, on your cherry cheesecake, what did you mix with the beads for the topping?
Gallery glass.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, I did that as a swap for one of the conventions. I don't remember which one, but yeah. So I ended up with those.
Okay, thanks, Preble.
You're welcome.
Shirley.
Oh, there, I'm unmuted. I've taken a couple of classes from Carl, and this is
Oh, wow.
Pull it back just a little bit, Shirley. It's not focusing.
yeah, it's still not focusing.
Go try to put it there.
There we go.
There you go.
Yeah. So we've got that cream puff tower, and then a tort with a fancy frilly top over here, a chocolate cake with orange slices. And this is an apple tort type cake, and like a cannoli tower.
Are those 1 inch?
Yeah. And then there was some other pastries on there that are on this tray. Let's see if I can tilt the camera down. Ah, they're falling.
Those are cool.
There. So I've got the jelly roll in the back, and the chocolate one in front of them is kind of like a tort tower with whipped cream and strawberries sticking out of it, and some little Napoleons. And then I did another one that it's on a little cake stand. And this rose here, I went one step farther. It's not really too clear here. When you take your rose and make it, then I take a long safety or stick pin, and I flute the edges out more, so that instead of smooth, you get the more shaped. And it's not very clear. Yeah, it's just not going to get clear. But the little one here, when you shape it, you go around the edge of your rose and then just pull down a little bit, and you can get the indentation for an individual petal. and then flare the other next to it and come down like that to make a petal. And this is a cake stand I made out of Fimo.
Oh,
Good.
I just took a circle and used a stylus and made the little indentations around it, and then a little cone for the bottom.
Lovely. Good idea.
You could use a piece of a golf tee for the bottom too.
Yeah. But I made the whole thing out of Fimo.
Hmm.
And then just edged it with gold paint all the way around. Just enough to put on the edge.
Very good.
And that's all I have.
Very clever.
okay, thank you. Marty.
Well, I don't know, Shirley, we might have been in the same class.
Got the same thing, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but obviously I'm not going to point out the same things, but this cannoli, you just take a Kemper tool or any round tool and roll it up and bake it, and that makes your cannoli. So I don't know why you couldn't, if you were very patient, take a smaller circle and cut it out and then roll that up and then fill that later.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you could do that. Now I also, so I'm not going to go through all these other ones, but one of the ones I had was a Napoleon cake,
Hmm.
but you could do the same thing with smaller for a 1/4 inch. And yes, they're all 1 inch, but I also took a class from Ruth Stewart where she was making petit fours. Now that's a little cake for a 1/4 inch.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this one is a pink pastry that I did in Carl's class, but I didn't finish it. It's supposed to have whipped cream and a strawberry on top. But if you made it, you know, tinier strawberries than what I made in the class, that could be, you know, a 1 inch, it could be a 1/4 inch cake.
Mm.
And all we did with this was do little tiny thin layers, pink and white, pink and white, pink and white, pink and white. But if you did them real thin, I think it would be decent for a 1/4 inch.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And so the other, yes, I have taken several of Carl's classes. But this is a Christmas one.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it's marzipan.
Oh,
made.
goodness me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And then these stars are just a star. And then you take your knife and put, you know, on up to the edge, and then put glass paint in the middle for your jelly.
Mhm.
That's all that is.
Very clever.
And then the others are just the same stars with he made almonds, and all we did was slice them and put them on there. So we got gingerbread, the gingerbread house, but this is all 1 inch.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've been to some of his luncheons, and this is one he made. No, I really made this. I'm lying.
We know that.
I know. But that's one Carl made for the luncheon
Oh, yeah.
with all the cool things on it
Mm-hmm.
to inspire me to do other things.
Yeah.
And then
Right.
the luncheon I did, he gave us a little tea set with little cucumber sandwiches
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
and
Oh.
pastries and tea.
Yeah. Lovely.
That's all I have.
Oh,
Right, before anybody else starts, I'm going to have to go to bed. It's 1:49 in the morning.
Oh,
And
yes,
get
Rusty.
carried away, don't you, when you're watching things you like so much?
Right.
But at some time, I want to just try and see if I can pick up that film for you that you want
Okay.
to see. I wondered if I could just, for 1 minute, try it now. Would anybody mind?
Sure. Go ahead.
I go into share screen again.
Yeah.
And let's see if I can't do this.
Bring
I'll
it,
probably
bring it up
try.
on your computer,
Yeah,
on your desktop. And
yes.
then down at the bottom where it says share screen, click on that. And then you have to find that little box on your
That's
screen
the
to click
one.
on, and then it's
How's about that? Now, you getting
Oh.
that?
yes,
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
And if I try and get it to play, which it probably won't, no, it will.
It will. You see? Oh, you're so good. There you go. Well,
Oh, thank goodness for that. I've been trying and trying and trying.
Did you take it down already?
oh,
Can I take it?
I said, did you? There's nothing but a black
yeah, it's black
screen.
screen right now.
You're
Oh,
not
there it
seeing
is.
this.
No,
Aren't you seeing this?
no.
Well, I'm seeing it. This is the trouble.
now we're seeing, no, we just, oh, no, we don't see it.
You're
It
not seeing
says-
any of this.
No, it's all
Oh,
black.
no.
We see your desktop, but it's all black. Oh,
Yet
my.
on my desktop, I'm seeing this. Oh dear, that is a shame.
Well, they've really blocked it this time. We
Yeah.
can't even do it the way we did before.
Oh,
Was
this is such a shame.
Oh, there it is. The great, yeah, I've been watching that. They show it on regular TV at
Are you
Christmas
seeing
time.
this at all?
No,
That's the bake
that's
off
just on the
that's going
side.
on here in the
You're
corner.
not seeing this at all.
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
Oh, I am annoyed. So good at the time.
Was it the British Bake Off?
No,
No.
this-
No, it's
the
the new
miniature one.
UK.
Well, why can't you see this? I can't
I
understand
don't
this.
understand why.
Okay,
because-
stop the share and try again. Go up the top and there's a red button. I think it says stop share. So stop this share.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
now go down to the bottom and share screen again. It's a green button kind of in the middle
You
at the
know you're
bottom.
recording all of this.
Oh, yeah, well.
Not gonna do it, is it? No, it's not gonna do it, girls. I am so sorry. I tried so hard.
Well, that's okay, Rusty. At least you tried.
Yeah, really. Oh, thank you
What
for
was it,
trying.
Rusty?
It's another thing like the Canadian one where they built dolls' houses in competition.
Oh, okay.
We did
Well,
see
it looked like it was gonna start.
It did look like it was gonna
Yeah.
start, but it was
Yeah.
going, but it was not showing us the picture.
They are
Right.
crafty. They don't want you to see it, do they?
No, they
Right.
don't.
Aren't they
Maybe,
naughty?
maybe we can try it on Tuesday.
Yeah. that's
Yeah,
a
we
good
were gonna
idea.
try it tomorrow early.
Yeah.
But let me know, Rusty, if you, of course, you're not being able to tell.
She has to have one of us, somebody from here on there to
Right,
see if we
yeah.
can see it. She's
Yeah.
seeing it, we're not seeing it.
Right, so it's not sharing the
No,
screen.
I am sorry, girls. Anyway, it was worth a try, I think.
Oh, heavens, yes.
Right.
We're not giving up.
Right.
Okay, that's it.
We never
Okay,
give
Rusty.
up.
Thanks for trying, and we'll see
Thank you.
later.
Anyway, with that
Thank you.
failure, good night,
Bye-bye.
girls.
Good night, Rusty.
Good
Bye,
night,
Rusty.
girls.
Night.
Night, love. No night.
Okay, Wanda. And Wanda, are you still here?
Wanda
No, she
said
left.
Oh,
she had to go. Thanks,
yeah,
everyone.
I know.
Yeah, she said goodbye in
So I have
chat.
one
She
more
said
thing to
it.
show.
Okay,
This was a Ruth Stewart class. It was an Easter thing. Let me see if I can use my flashlight.
no, too
Oh,
much.
that makes it worse.
No. Too much. Okay. The light in here is terrible. But there's a little cake with,
That's almost good.
That's good. Yeah.
the little cake is in there on the table with carrot legs on it and little eggs and Easter bunnies around it.
Let's see the backside of it.
Yeah.
When did you take that class? That's adorable.
I did
I
one
don't
something
know.
like that.
A couple years ago.
It's really
And
nice.
It also has the carrot light in the top too,
Ah,
with the holes in it for the chandelier.
all right.
Yeah. So I thought I would show that since it's Easter time.
Right.
Now, what did you put on the outside of your egg? Did you use glitter?
Yeah. Yeah, that's all glitter.
And you put the trim on and then the glitter, or the glitter first?
I must have glittered it first and then the trim.
Okay, because that's the point I'm at, is I need to put glitter on it and then put the trim on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she made these roses that are around the opening. I could never make them. Look how tiny that rose
Yeah,
is.
she gave us some roses.
Yeah, they're incredibly tiny.
And
Oh,
I made all the chocolate rabbits and eggs.
Uh-huh.
My frosting's been sitting in a cup of water for a year.
Oh.
I should
Uh.
just take that. I mean, I should just finish this thing. It's almost Easter again.
Yeah.
okay, Barbara Bauer.
Well, I have a Thanksgiving meal, but I didn't bring that upstairs, but I do have. This is Sid Wagner. I did it in 1995.
Mhm.
Oh,
We did not make these. She made those. A little
yeah.
snow clown little ice cream things.
Oh, yeah, little snow clowns. Yeah, little ice cream clowns. Yeah.
Yeah, your light's pretty bright. But
Well, I don't, if I turn it off, I don't know whether you'll be able to see it.
No, can't see anything.
Let me
that's
try-
too dark.
Let me try the overhead light. See if overhead light. Oh, that's better. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
It's
that's
behind me.
Oh,
I
that's
think we made the cake. I'm not sure. And then I lost one. This is lemonade. Of course, we made lemonade, and here's the picture that fell off. That goes on here too. But this on here, it was 4 chairs to go with it. And I have a cake stand with the lid that I have it on in display.
Oh, uh-huh.
beautiful.
Those
Now I
look
can
like
tell that
Kristen
they're,
Bond chairs,
snow
huh?
cone cakes.
Yeah, they are and painted white. I think she already had them painted white, and we just covered the seat there. She came to Indiana. She's a friend, was a friend of Becky Brown, who had Tiny Town. And I think the Thanksgiving meal that we did was also hers.
Oh,
And that
Oh,
was
yeah,
about,
that's cool.
that was the same time.
Mm.
Do you have that in a dome?
No, no, I don't. I have it in my curio cabinet, and I'm not even sure exactly which one is in. Because I made it probably 1993 or something.
Wow.
And I haven't made too much food. I don't particularly like making Fimo. But I've got a lot I have bought before, so.
Like the molded ones, I can usually do those.
Yeah,
If I don't have to make the thing from,
we actually made
Start.
a turkey, and my turkey doesn't look that bad.
Oh, good.
So I can run down and see if I can find it, but if you want to stop sharing and just chat for a while, I'll see if I can find that.
I do have one other thing I meant to show, and
Okay.
that this is one of those facial sponges. It may be latex, but I wanted to show how if you tear this, it looks like cake.
Uh-huh.
So versus, if you cut it, or, the way it comes.
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Angel food cake.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, angel food cake. And I think I've seen someone make it that way, and when I was pulling out the pastels, I saw that and I was like, oh yeah, I meant to,
Because we used to put the pastels on with those.
yeah. Yeah, I've just torn pieces off of it to use for different things, but for cake, it would definitely give you that texture without having to make it. Make the texture.
Anyone else got anything to show desserts? How about you, Sharita?
Let's see. Oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Let's see, desserts. I don't know. I didn't look. Let's see. I think I showed it before. The desserts
Not
I
lighting
had.
the spotlight all of a sudden. Might be good. Okay. Whoops. I don't know if it's because your picture isn't on, but it won't show spotlight.
Okay.
Oh, goodbye, Pat.
No, I didn't. No desserts. No desserts.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think you have to be sharing video in order to be spotlighted.
Yeah.
I have one thing to show. I
Okay.
didn't make it. This is from Bettina Murda.
Okay.
And
Who? Oh, Alice.
this-
Okay.
And it's a 1-inch Alice in Wonderland cake. Let's see, right here.
Oh, wow.
Isn't she amazing?
Oh, yeah.
And
Who
whose is that?
Bettina Murda.
Yeah.
Bettina did that. She's amazing. Yes.
She did that. I mean, she's just such an artist.
She is.
It's just amazing.
Totally.
But anyway, I guess I can't get it any more focused, but
Hold
it's
it still and then we can see it.
what's that?
Yeah, that's really cool.
Don't move
Put your
it.
hand behind it, and then
Oh, okay.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, wow.
oh yeah, now you can see it
Got a
better.
Hat, and it's just amazing. She's
Wow.
incredible.
She is.
Hey, anyone else got anything to share? Okay, I will turn off the recording if I can figure out how to do it.